All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? How is it going? I am Is There No One Else? In today's video, we are going to test the new Hew and Sunder set available for the Ascending Tide DLC. The set is as follows: max stam, 129 weapon and spell damage. When you deal damage with a heavy attack, gain 1236 offensive penetration for each enemy within 8 meters of your target for 10 seconds. This set can occur once every 7 seconds. And so, when you're looking at this set, the first thing that comes to mind is, okay, does it have a maximum number of people hit? Because some sets do. If you look at hypothetically, if you look at a set like Overwhelming Surge, it says lash out at everybody in front of you, but it has a built-in internal cooldown of hitting only 6 people. I've tested this in the past. You can go look up my Overwhelming Surge set if you want to go, confirm priors that I know what I'm talking about, but I was curious if this is going to have a cap on it. Like, is it going to be capped out at 7K, or is it going to have potentially an unlimited amount of pens? So if you're fighting in a keep, and it's M keep and there's 30 people on a flag, can you do a heavy attack with an 8-meter range and hit all 30 people? And is that going to give you friggin' is that going to give you the kind of pen that I think it's going to give you? And the answer is, from my testing, yes. I stacked like 15, 20 bodies here, and I went from 4K pen to 30K with just a medium weave. And so you're seeing I'm doing full heavies. I'm testing to see exactly how it procs. I want to see how big the circle is, because it doesn't matter how good the bonus is if the area isn't big enough to fulfill it, right? So if this is only like a 4-meter radius, or if the radius isn't wide enough and people can't stack in a room tight enough, you're not really going to get the full effects of the set. But I feel like with 8 meters with this type of set, it gets really good. It can be very good. And so I was looking at the set initially and I was like, it's going to be good for very outnumbered. It's going to be good for ball groups. And I started looking at it more and more, and I was testing it more and more, and I just came away more impressed with the set. Number one, it's got 100% uptime. It lasts for 10 seconds. It's got a 7-second cooldown. So literally once it's off a cooldown, you can medium weave again. And it's just a medium weave. So it's not going to be that slow, clunky combat that you have with other sets. And so the other thing is when you look at it, it's stam weapon damage. So 2, 3, and 4 piece is eerily similar to Spriggan's, which is still a solid damage set. It's still a solid front bar set. And when you look at the 5 piece, if you're 1v2ing a group and you medium weave and it procs on both of them, that gives you 2,500 pen. Now that 2,500 pen isn't as good as the 32 or 3,300 pen that Spriggan's gives you, but it's getting there. It's close. And so you have almost Spriggan's level damage in a 1v2. In a 1v3, you're going to outperform Spriggan's and Titanborn and all these other front bar damage sets. And so even a 1v3, if you can proc this on 3 people, it's going to give you more damage than most front bar sets. And this doesn't have to be front barred. It can be back barred. And so it's going to come down to what kind of meta this is. Like, obviously there's a lot of hybridization with healing. And so it very well could be the way to go to just stack weapon or spell damage and run radiating regen and all these other things to stack hots and have damage plus healing, because healing equals survivability. That very well could be the way to go. And so this kind of set will be left to the wayside. But with that being said, this is still going to be the highest potential burst front bar or back bar sets in the game, just due to what it does. Like, you can get 30k pen with this set. And so if you're kiting around in a tower and you have 5, 6, 7 people chasing you, or 10 people, like you're fighting at the front door of a tower at a resource, and 10 people rush in and you medium weave on the front door, you're gonna have 30k pen. Like, you can have up to 30k pen with this set. And so 30k plus. I mean, it depends on how many people you hit, but realistically, this could give you 15k plus pen pretty easily. And that's better than anything else you could get. If you start looking at realistic numbers, if you hit 5 people with this set, if you weave on people and you hit 5, that gives you over 6k pen. Over 6k pen is better. It's a better 5 piece than stun. Stun has an off balance proc. Off balance has a cooldown, and on each individual person. So you don't necessarily have 100% uptime on stun. You can have 100% uptime on this. you can you can back bar this or front bar this. And so that's the interesting part. And here I am testing with the lightning staff to see if it procs at range, and you see it procs off medium weaves. And so you can run this on a stamina nightblade, bow back bar. You medium weave with the bow on the back bar, and if you weave into a pile, that's going to give you so much upfront damage. A 10-second window for a fat in-cap spec bow. I mean, not that nightblades need damage or anything, but like that's just it's insanely high burst potential against literally anybody. And so penetration is one of the better, if not the best stat. In my opinion, it's the best stat that you can run in PvP. Penetration is just king for damage, and often people sleep on it. They'd rather see their weapon damage high or their spell damage high or their max stats, and they really sleep on these pen sets. Do not sleep on this pen set. It's really good. And so ball groups are obviously going to utilize this really well. I could see Stanblade bombers, Stanblade like spin to win tethers, like people want to call them the Zilla blades, where you go in with your soul tether and spin to win and everything. It's going to work really well with them. You do a medium weave into a tether, into a spin to win, and you have 30k plus pen. Like that's going to be absolutely disgusting. It's going to work well in a bomber. You just medium weave right before. You're not going to guarantee the crit on the initial burst, but you get all that pen afterwards. It's really going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting set. But yeah, outnumbered, ball group, small group, whatever, any type of thing where you're fighting more people than you're fighting against, this is going to be good. And so these types of sets I think are interesting. I could see the argument that they're a little too strong. I could definitely see that. I like these types of sets that have this incentive that people can have for fighting outnumbered. It doesn't give you a win. You know, it's not like running Dark Convergence or a set like Plague Break, where if you kill one person with Plague Break and you can chain off 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 kills. That's not what this does. This gives you the potential to have a ton of pen to where you can more or less even the fight out if you activate a skill in a certain area with a bunch of people stacked in a certain area. It's a criteria that can be met, but it's not just light attack at range, procs, and hope somebody else kills them so that everybody blows up. I think this is a healthier way to go about addressing sets in the game. I think this is a strong set. I don't know how popular this set's going to be because, like I said, there's just hybridization of healing and whatnot, and so this set might fall to the wayside for that reason. But on paper, just testing it, it's got a big AoE radius for its proc condition. So if you're fighting in a tower, if you're fighting at keeps and everything, it's gonna be very good for that. It's gonna be very good for that. Ranged bombers like the Malcolm Magica Nightblade bomber using Dark Convergence. I don't know if this set's gonna replace like Vicious Death. Probably not. But the amount of pen you can get with a medium weave when you pull everybody in, so you do your proximity detonation, you drop your Destro ult, which pulls everybody in. You do a medium weave, and all of a sudden you have 30k plus pen on everybody for the proxy det and that Destro ult. Yikes, man. Freaking yikes. So this is the stuff that I was looking at, and I was just looking at the set and just kind of, I don't know. I had some awkward laughs while looking at this. Like, man, it is kind of a goofy condition, and I know a lot of people probably won't run it in certain situations, but if your goal is to fight outnumbered and a 1v2 almost gives you solid front bar damage with 100% uptime, what's the downside to the set? You know what I mean? Like if you're fighting one person, like if you're 5 people and you're fighting one person, you're using this, yeah, it's not going to work very well. That's just not what it's for. So, but the other person, if he's using it against you, good luck. He's going to hit you hard as shit. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the set. Obviously, I want to know yours. Please let me know. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.